Erling Haaland is the best striker the Premier League has ever seen. Welcome back to the Final Bell and Whistle. My name's Colenso, and in this video, yes, we are discussing why I believe Erling Haaland is the best striker the Premier League has ever seen. Now, I know this is a bold statement, especially in a league that has seen the likes of Thierry Henry, Alan Shearer, Wayne Rooney, Sergio Agüero and Harry Kane. Purely as a striker, doing the hardest job in football, which is getting goals, I genuinely think Erling Haaland is the best there has been. And this isn't about hype, trophies, or recency bias. This is about impact, efficiency, and inevitability. So let's start with the numbers, because this is where it gets uncomfortable. As of right now, Erling Haaland has 102 Premier League goals in 113 Premier League appearances. You heard me right, 102 goals in 113 Premier League appearances. That is like video game numbers. That is like back in the day, you're playing pro clubs, you check your stats when you're in Division 10. This guy's doing this in the hardest league in the world on a consistent basis. That is 0.9 goals per game. That is nearly a goal a game. Now let's compare this with some of the greats. Now before I do, I appreciate a lot of them played later on in their career. There was many years where they were going out of their prime, but I can only base it on now. And these are the numbers. Alan Shearer averaged a 0.59 goal per game ratio. That is the Premier League all-time leading goal scorer. Next is Thierry Henry at 0.68. Sergio Agüero and Harry Kane on 0.67. Now Wayne Rooney's one is a little bit harsh because he did move into midfield, but still it is 0.42. Luis Suárez and Van Nistelrooy on a 0.63. We have Van Persie on 0.51. Eric Cantona on 0.45. And we have Didier Drogba at 0.41. The players I just listed, you will well know that these are not average players. These are Premier League legends, and Haaland is operating on a different level. His output is a joke. Most of these forwards need touches, need rhythm, need involvement. Haaland doesn't. He can be quiet for 80 minutes in a match, and then bang, Haaland steps up when he's needed. Now I'm going to compare Haaland's numbers to two strikers that, in my opinion, if we're looking at an individual season for a striker, for a forward, they were probably the best that I have personally seen. That Luis Suárez 2013 to 2014 was one of the best seasons I've ever seen from a striker. And from a player in general, it was absolutely incredible. And in that season, Luis Suárez dragged Liverpool into a title race with 31 goals in 33 games. That season, Luis Suárez really cemented himself as one of the best players in the world. He was relentless, chaotic, and on his day, which was most days, he was absolutely unplayable that year. Then you look at Haaland, who probably hasn't even hit his prime yet. In his first season in the Prem, he scores 36 goals in 35 games. He beat Suárez for goals. He beat Suárez for goals per game. Suárez tortured defences for 90 minutes. Whereas Haaland, he just needs a few seconds before he ends them. And then we have the other season, Robin van Persie in 2012 to 2013, where he had 26 goals in 38 games and he led United to a title, which was his first title as well. And for a long time, that felt like probably the best season we've seen from a striker. The elegance, the leadership, the big moments. But then again, Haaland comes in and just clears it. Across that season, Van Persie scored 26 goals. Haaland, in fewer games, got 36, which is 10 more goals. Yes, Van Persie dragged that team to a title, but so did Haaland in that same year. And bear in mind, that was his first season in the Prem. And please bear in mind, I'm not saying as a player, Haaland is the best player. Let's be honest, Henry is the best player the Premier League has ever seen. What he can do on the ball, what he can create, he can score a goal, he can assist, he can take a defender on, he can play a pass. Haaland's not going to do that. I'm talking about an all-and-out number 9, someone you want to put up top who's going to get you a goal. I'm picking Haaland any day of the season. Take your nostalgia out of it, because you are doing the same. Haaland is the best striker the Premier League has ever seen, and I'm not scared to say it. And if for some reason you do think this is recency bias, here is a stat that absolutely seals it for Haaland. Erling Haaland is the fastest player in Premier League history to reach 100 goals. He did this in 111 games. Alan Shearer needed 124. Harry Kane needed 141. Agüero needed 147. And Thierry Henry, greatest player the Premier League has ever seen, needed 160. Here is another record that he didn't just beat, he destroyed. I think another stat that talks about dominance, that talks about power, talks about when that player steps on the pitch, you are fearful that he is going to get not just one goal, but two, but three. Let's talk about hat-tricks. Tricks aren't always consistent, but they are dominant. And Haaland is combining the two. And the most hat-tricks in Premier League history, Sergio Agüero with 12. Alan Shearer has 11 and Robbie Fowler has 9. Guess who comes in with 8? I'm sure you can. Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland has 8 hat-tricks already. And how long has he been in the Premier League? 4 years? Like, it's an absolute joke. He is 25 years of age. He has 8 hat-tricks. He gets to 100 Premier League goals in 111 games. Like, that is ridiculous. He has done this in a fraction of the games. He's not just chasing records, he's arriving at them early. I appreciate Erling Haaland has played with brilliant players, because he has. But let's be honest, the best players always do. Thierry Henry had Bergkamp, Perez. Cristiano Ronaldo was at Man United with Rooney, Tevez, so on. Even Sergio Agüero, he had the likes of David Silva, Yaya Toure, Kevin De Bruyne. Did he reach these numbers in the amount of games that Haaland is? No. Even this season, when Manchester City are clearly not the team they once were, which is saying something because they're still a brilliant team. But let's be honest, they're not the team that they once were. They're not the dominant, go on a 15-game winning streak. Backline is solid. They're just not that. Kevin De Bruyne is even gone. But who's the one person that's a constant? Erling Haaland, and he's on 17 goals in 16 appearances. Let's put it bluntly, this is one of the weakest City sides we've seen in years. Not a machine that they once were, but Haaland is staying consistent. He's putting up numbers week in and week out. Haaland's output has not dropped. He adapts, he still delivers. System changes, the team evolves, but Haaland remains the constant. If Haaland stays for the length of his contract and even more, I do think he is going to be the Premier League leading all-time goal scorer. Hopefully nothing happens injury-wise. He seems to be keeping fit. He did seem to pick up injuries fairly early on in his career, and that does seem to have slowed down. If he does stay fit, then I think the Premier League needs to be worried, because I think he's coming for every single record there is. Look, to wrap this up, this isn't about nostalgia. This isn't about who you enjoyed watching more. It's about doing the hardest job in football better, faster, and more consistently than anyone ever has. If this is just the beginning, then the Premier League isn't just watching greatness. It's watching the most effective, clinical, and dominant striker the league has ever seen. Now, you guys let me know in the comments down below, am I having a bit of recency bias? Am I talking utter nonsense? You guys let me know in the comment down below. Please like and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one.